we got enough people to get started. Yeah. Okay. Oops. Gotta put this over here. Be slow. How's it going there, tribe? So I just want to get a few people in here. We're gonna go ahead and this came out about 5.5 hours ago. I want you to pay attention, but I still want to address some of the things you see in the thumbnail as far as the statement. This is pretty interesting. It's about 30 minutes long. I'm not gonna play this entirety. I just want you to pay attention to what's going on. Something that many of us has talked about. You know, fake fact checkers try to fact check people, and every time they fact check people talking about this, they always put in flu and COVID, which is a bunch of nonsense. And we all know that now. But you know, I guess the algorithm, they haven't changed it because, you know, the deep dark network of sociopaths, psychopaths, murderous, and those with intent, who, as you see, by those who in costume murdered a certain individual in Arizona, to which I'm reading a Pale Horse, William Cooper, and a plethora of other individuals. And these people actually believe that all the good people are not here and everybody's dumbed down and nobody will fight. I want you to pay attention to this and then we'll get into it, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to be swearing and all that. It's unnecessary. Never had to. And I just want you guys to pay attention. And it is very important that we know not the game, yet we're involved in it. And they always say that if you're going to go play a game, you must be prepped. You must go through training in order to get to the so-called big league. Now, we know that's all been used as deceptive purposes, the music industry and everything else. You look at Jamie Foxx right now attempting to get out of that, which what he was sicking onto. I love Too Strong and a few other individuals who have Papa Duck, and even though he pushed out of Africa, he may be African or whatever. But I love what's coming out, and it's going to come out more. But let's go ahead and we're going to get right into it. And then after we play about roughly about 15 minutes, then I'll address some of the other things. And this is what the podcast is going to be about, because I really pay attention to a lot of veterans, people who I know are still working in some consortium, whether it be within a government agency, the military, whatever. And that's why I don't take my phone with me everywhere. And when I do, I'm in front of cameras that can listen, like at the gun range, a certain place like that. And we are well aware that there are certain individuals, even still in the military, who own some of these establishments, are part of the issue, just like the NRA that's selling everybody out or under the bus. And let's go ahead and get into it. So put in your seatbelt, grab your peanuts and the salad, leave the popcorn alone unless it's you grew it and made it. And here we go.
The woman yields back. Without objection, all of the opening statements will be included in the record. We will now introduce today's witnesses. Mr. Garrett O'Boyle. Mr. O'Boyle is a whistleblower, an FBI special agent, and most recently in the Wichita resident agency of the Kansas City field office. Prior to becoming an FBI agent,
I hope you don't mind if you hit the likes. I could appreciate that to beat the algorithm, because I still read and I still teach. I would really, really appreciate it. If it's not too hard, if you don't have to, you can hit dislike. But I appreciate it if you don't mind. I know we're all adults and it's not too harsh. All right, and thank you.
Mr. O'Boyle served our nation as an infantryman in the United States Army for 6 years. In the Army, Mr. O'Boyle was deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan. He received numerous service awards, including the Combat Infantryman Badge. Mr. O'Boyle received an honorable discharge from the Army. Upon leaving, Mr. O'Boyle continued his commitment to public service, serving as a police officer in Waukesha, Wisconsin for 4 years. Mr. O'Boyle joined the FBI in 2018. As an FBI agent, Mr. O'Boyle was selected to serve on the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the SWAT team. Mr. O'Boyle graduated cum laude from Marquette University with a degree in criminology and law studies. But the FBI questions his loyalty to the Constitution and to our country. Mr. Fran is a whistleblower, an FBI special agent, most recently in the Daytona Beach resident agency of the Jacksonville field office. Prior to becoming an FBI agent in 2014, Mr. Fran served as a police officer in Savannah, Georgia, in Pooler, Georgia, and as an FBI agent, Mr. Fran spent 7 years working human trafficking investigations and investigating crimes against children.
There we go.
Prior to blowing the whistle in 2022, Mr. Fran had received several awards from the FBI for his performance. Mr. Fran is a graduate of the University of Notre Dame, and again, after this service to our country, the FBI questions his loyalty to the country. Mr. Allen is a whistleblower and staff operations specialist with the FBI's Charlotte field office. Mr. Allen has 20 years of experience as an intelligence professional in the FBI and the United States Armed Services. Prior to joining the FBI, Mr. Allen served in the United States Marine Corps, including service in Iraq, Kuwait, and Japan. In the Marines, Mr. Allen received several awards, including the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. Mr. Allen received an honorable discharge from his Marine Corps duty. And again, the letter we got from the FBI, they're questioning his commitment to our country. I find that astounding. Prior to blowing the whistle, Mr. Allen received several awards from the FBI, including being selected as Employee of the Year for the Charlotte Field Office in 2019. Mr. Allen holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from American Military University. Mr. Tristan Levitt. Mr. Levitt is an attorney and the president of Empower Oversight, an organization dedicated to enhancing independent oversight of government and corporate wrongdoing. Prior to joining Empower Oversight, Mr. Levitt was a Senate-confirmed member of the United States Merit System Protection Board, which adjudicates whistleblower retaliation claims. Mr. Levitt also served as the principal deputy special counsel at the Office of the Special Counsel, which enforces federal whistleblower laws. Earlier in his career, Mr. Levitt was a counsel for Senator Grassley on the Senate Judiciary Committee and staffer on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. He's a graduate of Brigham Young University and Georgetown University Law Center and is considered an expert on the whistleblower law. As far as I know, the FBI hasn't questioned his loyalty to the country. We welcome our witnesses and thank them for appearing today. We will begin by swearing you in. Would you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, so help you God? Let the record show that each witness answered in the affirmative. Thank you. Please be seated. Please know that your written testimony will be entered into the record in its entirety. Accordingly, we ask that you summarize your testimony in approximately 5 minutes. We're going to give you plenty of time. But if you can keep it around 5, great. But go over, no worries there. And we will start with Mr. O'Boyle. Mr. O'Boyle, you are recognized for your opening statement.
Chairman Jordan, members of the committee, thank you for addressing FBI malfeasance and allowing me to speak today. Aside from that point of gratitude, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, and I'm angry that I have to be here to testify about the weaponization of the FBI and DOJ. Weaponization against not only its own employees, but against those institutions and individuals that are supposed to protect the American people. I am here today because even though I am wrongfully suspended from the FBI, I remain duty-bound to the American people to play my small role in rectifying these issues. After all, I never swore an oath to the FBI. I swore an oath to the Constitution. I've served my nation and community my entire adult life, first in the United States Army, then as a police officer, and lastly as an FBI special agent. Shortly after high school, I joined the United States Army, where I served in the infantry, and I was quickly promoted through the ranks. I deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. I served in the historic 101st Airborne Division. I received the Combat Infantryman's Badge, which is awarded to those infantrymen who engage in ground combat with our nation's enemies. The Army's official motto is, "This will defend." Along with numerous others, I volunteered to serve this nation, risking my life in combat to protect America and her values. I know some of the best men and women this country has to offer. They come from all backgrounds, races, and creeds. They helped mold me into the person I am today. Each was willing to sacrifice, and many did, to protect this great nation. It is our duty to honor their sacrifices by standing up for what is right, regardless of the difficulty. After serving in the Army, I became a police officer. Police officers, like me, are imperfect beings, but we strive to uphold the law and the Constitution. People who go to work every day trying to make their communities better, yet who nonetheless are faced with budget cuts and calls for defunding as we continue spiraling away from law and order as a nation. While serving as a police officer, I finished my bachelor's degree, graduating with honors in criminology and law studies. Shortly thereafter, I began the long road to becoming an FBI special agent, a position I once understood to be the pinnacle of law enforcement, in a way to continue to serve this nation and protect and defend the Constitution. During my 4 years as a special agent, I received the highest annual review an employee can receive. I volunteered for, tried out for, and was selected for an FBI SWAT team. I also volunteered for, tried out for, and was selected for a new unit the FBI created. I also received an award for my work on an anti-abortion extremism case. I've been smeared as a malcontent and subpar FBI employee. This smear stands in stark contrast to my life in public service. This smear campaign, disgusting as it is unsurprising. Despite our oath to uphold the Constitution, too many in the FBI aren't willing to sacrifice for the hard right over the easy wrong. They see what becomes of whistleblowers, how the FBI destroys their careers, suspends them under false pretenses, takes their security clearances and pay with no true options for real recourse or remedy. This is by design. It creates an Orwellian atmosphere that silences opposition and discussion. We know what is right to do, yet we too often refuse to do what is right because of the difficulty and suffering it incurs. I couldn't knowingly continue on this path silently without speaking out against the weaponization I witnessed, even if it meant losing my job, my career, my livelihood, my family's home, and now my anonymity. It's up to members of this committee, current and former FBI employees, and indeed all Americans, to ensure that the weaponization of our own government against the people comes to an end, no matter the personal cost. As James Madison prudently opined, in framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed. In the next place, oblige it to control itself. The safeguards currently in place at the FBI are clearly inadequate and must be reworked to protect whistleblowers and others who are inappropriately targeted. The FBI can extract whatever they want from me. I'm willing to bear that burden. I've sworn to defend this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic, even if that means sacrificing my life. I've lived that oath out since first enlisting in the Army, consistently saying, "Here am I, send me." My oath, however, did not include sacrificing the hopes, dreams, and livelihood of my family, my strong, beautiful, and courageous wife, and our 4 sweet and beautiful daughters who have endured this process along with me. In weaponized fashion, the FBI allowed me to accept orders to a new position halfway across the country. They allowed us to sell my family's home. They ordered me to report to the new unit when our youngest daughter was 2 weeks old. Then, on my first day on the new assignment.
So all my veteran brothers and sisters who are watching, hit that like. And you know, I still would give my life to sacrifice my life to foreign and domestic. And I would hope that the good ones who are still here hold the same value and core content of character that is so perversely misled and misrepresented by some of these woke individuals today. I protect you and any one of you.
They suspended me, rendering my family homeless. They refused to release our goods, including our clothes, for weeks. All I wanted to do was serve my country by stopping bad guys and protecting the innocent. To my chagrin, bad guys have begun running parts of the government, making it difficult to continue to serve this nation and protect the innocent. But I, for one, will never stop trying. And I'll never.
I guess we got some enemies watching, people. Don't worry, I'm not going to even look on YouTube. Look on my tablet to go and see who these individuals are with their blank accounts. But yeah, just remember, foreign and domestic.
Forget my oath. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle. God bless you. Mr. Fran, you're recognized for your opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Jordan. And members of the committee, my name is Stephen Fran. I'm a senior fellow for the Center for Renewing America. Prior to assuming my current position, I was a special agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation for 8.5 years. During that time, I investigated approximately 200 violent crimes, such as aggravated assaults, murder, child abuse, rape, robbery, child molestation, child pornography, and human trafficking. I also served 5 years on an FBI SWAT team and spent 5 years as a local law enforcement officer in the state of Georgia. In August 2022, I made protected whistleblower disclosures to my immediate supervisor, assistant special agents in charge, and special agent in charge about my concerns regarding January 6 investigations assigned to my office. I believed our departures from case management rules established in the FBI's Domestic Investigations and Operations Guide could have undermined potentially righteous prosecutions and may have been part of an effort to inflate the FBI's statistics on domestic extremism. I also voiced concerns that the FBI's use of SWAT and large-scale arrest operations to apprehend suspects who are accused of nonviolent crimes and misdemeanors represented by counsel and who pledged to cooperate with the federal authorities in the event of criminal charges created an unnecessary risk to FBI personnel and public safety. At each level of my chain of command, leadership cautioned that despite my exemplary work performance, whistleblowing placed my otherwise bright future with the FBI at risk. Special agents take an oath to protect the U.S. Constitution. The dangers of federal law enforcement overreach were hammered home to me when I was required to attend trainings at the Holocaust Memorial Museum and MLK Memorial. I cited my oath and training in my conversations with my FBI supervisors. Nevertheless, the FBI weaponized the security clearance processes to facilitate my removal from active duty within 1 month of my disclosures. In addition to an indefinite unpaid suspension, the FBI initiated a campaign of humiliation and intimidation to punish and pressure me to resign. In violation of HIPAA, individuals at the FBI leaked my private medical information to a reporter at the New York Times. In violation of the Privacy Act, the FBI refused to furnish my training records for several months. To date, they only provide a portion of the records, which are essential to obtaining private investigator and firearms licenses in the state of Florida. Even after releasing some of the records, the FBI refuses to confirm their legitimacy to the Florida Department of Agriculture, rendering the few documents they have provided practically useless. The FBI denied my request to seek outside employment in an obvious attempt to deprive me of the ability to support my family. Finally, the FBI Inspection Division imposed an illegal gag order in an attempt to prevent me from communicating with my family and attorneys. Working as an FBI special agent was my dream job. My whistleblowing was apolitical and in the spirit of upholding my oath. Nonetheless, the FBI cynically elected to close ranks and attack the messenger. The FBI is incentivized to work against the American people and in dire need of drastic reform, particularly in these areas. The integrated program management system incentivizes the use of inappropriate investigatory processes and tools to achieve arbitrary statistical accomplishments. Mission creep within the National Security Branch has refocused counterterrorism from legitimate foreign actors to political opponents within our borders. The FBI weaponizes process crimes and reinterprets laws to initiate pretextual prosecutions and persecute its political enemies. Bureau intelligence analysis capability increasingly dictates operations, turning the FBI into an intelligence agency with a law enforcement capability. FBI collusion with big tech to gather intelligence on Americans, censor political speech, and target citizens for malicious prosecution. A dysfunctional promotion process fosters a revolving door of inexperienced, ambitious FBI supervisors ascending the management ladder within the agency. FBI informant protocols that are broken and abusive. The FBI skirts the Whistleblower Protection Act and exploits the security clearance revocation process to expel employees who make legally protected disclosures. I am pleased to see the Weaponization Committee is taking testimony from FBI whistleblowers. I would also like to take this opportunity to address correspondence recently received by the subcommittee. Yesterday, May 17, 2023, FBI Acting Assistant Director Christopher Dunham submitted a letter to this subcommittee. Portions of his letter concern the suspension and revocation of my security clearance. Parenthetically, I also received a letter from the FBI Executive Assistant Director Jennifer Moore yesterday, notifying me that my security clearance was revoked. I find the timing of these letters dubious, but leave that up to the subcommittee's determination. Instead, I would like to address and add vital context to the portion of Mr. Dunham's letter pertaining to my alleged violation of Adjudicative Guideline J.
We're almost at 15 minutes. Would you like for me to go ahead and play the whole thing? Because I'm gonna do a commentary, and it's gonna be brief, and then I'm gonna speak on the other things. If so, I'll let it go ahead and play all the way through. Or otherwise, I'll stop it at the 15. One, okay, that's one. Okay, so I'll continue this new. Anybody else? Would you like for me to continue it? I'll let it play all the way through, and then that way we won't get a strike or anything like that against Forbes Breaking News. Not that it's monetized, but it's news. It's worldly news. So there we go.
Mr. Dunham is referring to an audio recording I created of my August 23, 2022 meeting with Jacksonville Assistant Special Agents in Charge Colt Markowski and Sean Ryan. After making protected whistleblower disclosures to my immediate supervisor in August 19, 2022, ASAC Markowski summoned me to a meeting at the FBI Jacksonville office. ASAC Markowski told me the meeting was intended to be an opportunity to discuss my concerns. I anticipated the meeting might ultimately lead to my executive managers attempting to compel me to participate in an activity which placed public safety at risk. I was concerned ASAC Markowski and ASAC Ryan may threaten adverse actions toward my career as a result of my whistleblower disclosure. Prior to the meeting, I consulted Florida law to confirm that a law enforcement exemption exists for state two-party consent restriction. I decided to record the meeting to memorialize our discussion and my concerns about the FBI's misconduct. When I entered the FBI Jacksonville office building, ASAC Markowski and ASAC Ryan were having a private meeting. I waited for them in a conference room. When they entered, all of us placed our cellular phones on the conference table. As an experienced investigator who has conducted hundreds of recorded interviews, I noted how both ASAC Markowski and ASAC Ryan repeated themselves throughout our discussion and continually insisted I agree to their premise that I was insubordinate and refusing to perform my job. I rebuffed each allegation and repeated that I believed I was fulfilling my oath of office by making my disclosure about the FBI's rule departures and the inappropriate risk to public safety via aggressive arrest tactics for January 6 subjects. It was my sincere belief that my ASACs were also recording our conversations. In January 2023, I participated in an interview with the FBI Security Division. During that interview, I was asked if I recorded my August 23, 2022 meeting with ASAC Markowski and ASAC Ryan. I answered honestly that I had. Although it would seem to be an obvious and natural follow-up, the FBI Security Division interviewers did not request a copy of the recording. FBI Security Division should be gravely concerned if executive managers threaten subordinate whistleblowers with adverse action. I submitted that this omission by the FBI Security Division solidifies my contention that ASACs Markowski and Ryan created their own recording of our meeting. The FBI was not concerned about potential whistleblower retaliation. The Bureau was only interested in learning if these actions were at risk of exposure. I pray that all members consider the information I and my fellow whistleblowers present. You may think I'm a political partisan. You may think I'm a grifter. You may think I'm a conspiracy theorist. It does not matter. Simply put, this committee should avoid the temptation to impugn the character and the motivations of the messengers seated before you. I sacrificed my dream job to share this information with the American people. I humbly ask all of the members to do your jobs and consider the merit of what I have presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fran. I appreciate your testimony. Mr. Allen, you are now recognized for your opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman. Hello, my name is Marcus Allen. I'm a staff operations specialist for the FBI in the Charlotte field office. Due to whistleblower retaliation by the FBI, I've been suspended without pay for over a year. Thank you to the committee for allowing me time today to convey my concerns about the current FBI. In particular, I am concerned and
Now I'm aware that we have individuals that come in to watch and they're like nonsense, they like pranks and stupid stuff. Why I have hope is the 11 of you that like this realize that it's very important. Now there's a bunch of the society that think that everything can blow over in the wind and it's unimportant. The likes is not because I want you to like my content. The likes is so we can beat the algorithm. It really is. I've been studying everything on YouTube to know how it works. The likes help me to get it out there to people, or even young individuals who might be able to help. Now, you individuals just come by, and I know some of you from Instagram, you're not sitting here liking because I see the stuff that you like over there, and I read your comments, and you like a lot of foolishness. You're not healthy, you're not helpful, and maybe this is not where you should be at. Maybe you should go somewhere else. For the new subscribers, I appreciate you, but hit the thumbs up. It helps it go a long way. It shouldn't have to be people in the comment section asking and implying. I know that we have a lot of people that believe they're adults and they move like 2-year-olds, and 2-year-olds are not bad, but you're supposed to be adults with a mature brain, being able to function and operate on a higher level, not based on your conditioning, but to move beyond that. So I know incredibly and sadly, incredulously, that it's an issue. So assist a brother.
I believe this committee should also be concerned about the FBI's use of the security clearance process to retaliate against whistleblowers. First, though, just so you know a little bit about me, I served honorably in the United States Marine Corps from 2000 to 2005. I was deployed to Kuwait and served 2 tours in Iraq and contributed to Operation Iraqi Freedom. During my deployments, I was exposed to live enemy fire on numerous occasions, even though I served primarily in analytical and intelligence roles. I was awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. I eventually joined the FBI and was Employee of the Year in 2019 in the Charlotte field office. As the holder of a top secret security clearance since 2001, I've been trusted with the nation's greatest secrets. So why am I here today? Despite my history of unblemished service to the United States, the FBI suspended my security clearance, accusing me of actually being disloyal to my country. This outrageous and insulting accusation is based on unsubstantiated accusations that I hold conspiratorial views regarding the events of January 6, 2021.
I want y'all to notice something. I want y'all to pay attention. How many of y'all see what I see? Does that literally mean conservative? For him, it may, but no. Pay attention to what people wear. Truthfully, pay attention.
And that I allegedly sympathize with criminal conduct. I do not. I was not in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, played no part in the events of January 6th, and I condemn all criminal activity that occurred. Instead, it appears that I was retaliated against because I forwarded information to my superiors and others that questioned the official narrative of the events of January 6th. As a result, I was accused of promoting conspiratorial views and unreliable information. Because I did this, the FBI questioned my allegiance to the United States. Since I was suspended, there's been a dearth of communication from the FBI, with interactions seemingly only being forced by actions from my counsel or members of Congress. For example, I was not even interviewed by anyone from the FBI until May of 2022. I was suspended in January of 2022.
I'm going to say this and let it be and let it play. But the weak Masonic secret nonsense that you are not even noticing, and it's deeper than Masonic, because they're not real Masons. All right. I don't care if you think you belong to that's not real Masonry. It's a perversion. And I want y'all to pay attention to the people in the house. Now, is this a big vaudeville show? Well, I'm like I said, we'll get into the commentary, but you need to look beyond what you perceive.
This interaction with the FBI happened on the heels of a public statement from a congressional member in early May of 2022. The member made statements indicating the FBI was conducting a purge of employees with conservative viewpoints. Within hours of the public statements, my counsel received a phone call from the FBI wanting to see if they could conduct an interview. I promptly complied and did an interview with investigators within a week. Throughout this ordeal, I and my counsel have responded quickly, whereas the FBI has only stonewalled. I have filed a federal civil rights lawsuit, which is pending, seeking to recover my livelihood and restore my good name. Recently, my counsel filed a whistleblower complaint with the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General. The complaint set forth retaliation through misuse of the security clearance process, as well as reprisal against me for making a protected disclosure. Interestingly enough, in the wake of filing the complaint, I received correspondence from the FBI indicating that my clearance had now been formally revoked. This occurred after filing my complaint with the IG. The new and baseless claims made in the letter had never been brought up prior to the issuance of the security clearance revocation letter. I have never had the opportunity to defend myself. I only had one interview with the FBI, which occurred a year ago after apparent prompting from Congress. In that interview, the investigators towards the end of the interview uttered in response to my exasperation, "Don't sue us." This has been a trying circumstance for me and my family. It has been more than a year since the FBI took my paycheck from me, and we're getting financially crushed. My family and I have been surviving on early withdrawals from our retirement accounts, while the FBI has ignored my request for approval to obtain outside employment during the review of my security clearance. We have lost our federal health insurance coverage, and there's apparently no end in sight. I'm hopeful scrutiny from Congress and from the Inspector General will deter the FBI from abusing the security clearance process to retaliate against others the way it's retaliated against me. This is why I filed a whistleblower retaliation complaint with the IG and why I'm here today to answer your questions. Thank you. And I also have...
It says reserved for witness, hon. Reserved for witness. That's all. It's like courts in the front row.
A rebuttal if the member will allow me to. Thank you. This is a rebuttal of the FBI correspondence just recently sent to the committee in reference to my clearance suspension and now revocation. Calumny is not a word to be thrown around lightly. In regards to the FBI's treatment of me, it is fitting. This is conduct unbecoming of an organization given the public trust. Think about that. My treatment, without a doubt, has sent a chilling effect through what semblance remains of an analytical cadre. This was not a thorough investigation in my regard. I've not been afforded an opportunity to appropriately defend myself or confront the claims made against me. Interestingly, the revocation language citing Guideline E is the first instance I've ever seen referring to this specific guidance in my case. The claim that I obstructed a lawful investigation is dubious, and I do not recall ever being admonished for such an infraction. In regards to the paragraph in the letters highlighting an alleged incident with a special agent, I have no idea what it refers to. This alleged incident did not come up at all during the alleged thorough investigation. Again, as with Guideline E, this is the first appearance of this allegation during this entire ordeal. Next, I do not recall ever receiving a directive to stop sending information in regards to the 6th. Why would you not want any more information sent to you? Furthermore, the September 29, 2021 email referred to in the letter is part of a protected disclosure, and this correspondence represents documentary evidence of a protected disclosure as a source of retaliation and reprisal. Alternative analysis and differing viewpoints should be welcomed, even though they may not be ultimately acted upon by the actual decision makers. Groupthink should not be an ethos championed in an investigative organization. To shut down differing viewpoints is the end of any analytical or investigative body. It sends a chilling effect across the workforce and does not allow for intellectual freedom, which is vital to any investigative body seeking out the truth. It is possible the ire towards my perspective could have been due to folks wanting to maintain vincible ignorance instead of consciously and mentally transferring over to willful ignorance. This is the end of my statement, and thank you for my time.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Mr. Levitt.
Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Plaskett, members of the subcommittee, thank you so much for the invitation to testify today. I currently serve as the president of Empower Oversight. We're honored to represent Stephen Friend and Marcus Allen. FBI whistleblowers have second-class status compared to those in most federal agencies. When Congress adopted the modern system of whistleblower protections, it prohibited retaliation against FBI whistleblowers, but it gave them none of the process other federal law enforcement agencies received, like the DEA, the ATF, U.S. Marshals, and Secret Service. Whistleblowers of those agencies can all file retaliation complaints with the U.S. Office of Special Counsel, an independent agency. FBI whistleblowers cannot. Whistleblowers at those agencies can all appeal retaliation to the Merit Systems Protection Board, on which I recently served. Until just last year, FBI whistleblowers could not. They finally got that right in last December's NDAA. But Congress must ensure that this new jurisdiction applies as intended to all FBI retaliation cases. Many have been wending their way for years through DOJ's long and extensive process. But the laws prohibiting retaliation have been on the books that entire time. The FBI cannot claim now that these are new rights just because they now have to justify their actions before the MSPB. Time has demonstrated, in my opinion, that it was a mistake to exclude the FBI from the standard whistleblower protection process. It discourages integrity and encourages deceit and even corruption. Congress should treat the FBI the same as all other federal law enforcement agencies, eliminating a special exception and giving its employees access to OSC to investigate retaliation. The hardworking employees of the FBI deserve equal protection of the law. The FBI's latest troubling practice is suspending security clearances to retaliate against whistleblowers. Mr. Friend and Mr. Allen, along with Mr. O'Boyle, are just several public examples of this trend. When the FBI suspends a clearance, it also immediately suspends the employee indefinitely, without pay. To make matters worse, it holds them and their families hostage by requiring them to get permission to take another job, permission the FBI routinely denies. Congress needs to ensure the FBI stops this abuse. In light of all these obstacles for FBI whistleblowers, you would think Congress would do everything that it could to welcome their disclosures here. But FBI employees coming to Congress have unfortunately been shamefully treated by Democrats on this committee. It's one thing to hear allegations and find them unpersuasive or even distasteful. An office can even ignore those allegations if they choose. That's their prerogative. But to go out and actively smear the individuals making disclosures is far worse. That's what the Democrats on this committee did when they released a March 2nd report entitled GOP Witnesses, What Their Disclosures Indicate About the State of the Republican Investigations. That report was inaccurate, both on the law and on the facts. The law doesn't define the term whistleblower. Instead, it protects from retaliation individuals who engage in protected activity. For over a century, simply making disclosures of any information to Congress has been a protected activity. Furthermore, an appropriations rider in effect at this time prohibits money from paying the salary of any federal employee who prohibits or prevents any other federal employee, such as FBI whistleblowers, from communicating with Congress. The Democrats' report denied whistleblower status to individuals engaged in the precise activity the legislative branch has considered protected since 1912. The report's reliance on evidence for whistleblower status is also misplaced. Simply communicating a reasonable belief of misconduct is protected whistleblower activity under the law. This applies regardless of whether the whistleblower produces evidence at that time backing up their allegations. Only protecting whistleblower disclosures accompanied by conclusive evidence, as the Democrats seem to require, would have disastrous consequences for retaliation throughout the federal government. My experience working for Congress was that whistleblowers brought allegations, and where the committees found those allegations worthy of further follow-up and congressional action, we conducted investigations. No one expects a private citizen to investigate a crime before going to the police, and we didn't expect a whistleblower to investigate their own agency. That's also essentially how the law for remedying retaliation through the MSPB is set up, where making a non-frivolous allegation leads to discovery, interviews, and more. Simply put, the burden isn't on the whistleblower to produce the evidence at the outset. That's why there's an investigative process. The Democrats' report also got the facts wrong. For example, they claim DOJ IG declined to investigate Mr. Friend's claim, when in fact, DOJ IG will be interviewing Mr. Friend tomorrow and has an ongoing investigation. DOJ IG says no one from the Democrat staff ever contacted their office to verify this claim before issuing their report. Inexcusably, a number of mainstream media sources simply repeated the Democrats' wrong information uncritically without bothering to check the facts for themselves, which is why there were multiple retractions. FBI whistleblowers have traveled a hard road over the years. They should be treated by Congress the same as other whistleblowers. Issuing reports smearing those who come forward from the FBI will unquestionably deter others from taking that same path. Congress must have firsthand information about how federal agencies are operating to perform its constitutional duty of oversight. Why would future whistleblowers bring their disclosures to Congress if they think they might be treated like this? Attacking whistleblowers hurts this committee and others, the House of Representatives as an institution, and Congress as a whole. Thank you.
Now let me set this up. Check that around here. Let's get this situated so we get it on me. So I'll give a little commentary and address a couple other things. And let's see, I'm going a little long. I might be able to read Women of Lemuria and the American Covenant. Okay. I got to bring this down a little bit, guys. Not too low, but I'll set it up. You know how these tripods are. I should have brought the one from downstairs, but that's not the case. Okay. I'll leave it sideways. Grab my seat here. And let me adjust this accordingly. I don't like curtains. I don't use curtains no more, y'all. I have some Ledbetter ones, but you know, appreciate everybody coming in. Let me go ahead and pull out of this here, if you don't mind. I was actually going to do this on my my laptop because it was so good. I was going to bring it into the living room, set everything up, and I was like, y'all would love this, seriously, without a doubt. Let's go right here, and let's get a little background music going here. I love to have my background music. Yes, I do. Yeah, my favorite. Let's turn it down. So. First, I want to read something so we have a little clarity. I was going to show you something else, but I'm actually going to speak on that. Let's go ahead and take these. I really need them. It's Office of the Whistleblower. The Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act expanded the protections for whistleblowers and broadened the prohibitions against retaliation. Why am I speaking on whistleblowers? Because they're actually the good guys. Excuse me, I have to, it's right here, but I'm going to look straight ahead. Now, what is the U.S. Whistleblower Protection Act? Well, the Whistleblower Protection Act, WPA acronym, was established to ensure that employees who engage in protective disclosure are free from fear of reprisal for their disclosures. That's a key point. Whistleblower retaliation is the taking, failing to take initiative, all right, or threatening to take a personal action because of an employee's whistleblowing. That means failure to do what's required. When was it established? 1970, but not for the FBI, and we know as to why. You know, once the Hoover thing passed away, certain participants had an issue. Now, is that to say that they don't have bad people in it? Well, it's obvious they do. All of the agencies have been weaponized because we've been reading Silent Weapons for Silent Wars, and we know they have built establishments all around the country to house every one of you. Once you go to sleep, they have the incumbents to take you, as long as you're out, and those who pass away from the gas, oh well, and put you in these places. So when you wake up, like that one video I played, the remix showing the little animated guy in this single, I guess you could say, 15-minute or AI controlled city for experiments and everything else, eating crickets and all this. Now that's not far stretch. There's a reality to that. We are covering that. Is whistleblowing a crime in the U.S.? Well, the U.S., this is not the U.S., people. See, and their interiors another infringement and lie. And it's sad that they have been groomed to even utilize the word U.S., which is a corporation which they work for. But the Prohibited Personal Practices Act, PPPA Amendment, United States Code, Title V, Government Organization and Employees to provide federal employees with whistleblower protection. The law forbids retaliation for whistleblowers. Now, in that, you have to read the whole thing, which is a docket. It doesn't. I looked over it. I'm like, okay, I don't see the FBI or nobody. I just see federal employees. So, ergo's, I guess, why they are now part of that. But it's not working. Why am I saying this? Everybody knows that this government is fictional. Those in the knowing. When I say everybody, I mean those who know. And we know the participants are the party players who have created this. I'm reading about them in Arthur Kessler's 13th Tribe. They've had the most practice in this deceit and deception. Okay, causing wars and lying and everything else. They occupy a land in Palestine that's not theirs. And they are not the heirs or the people. And yet here they are, the same ones over here who have infiltrated and personified the very exact sickness that you see today. Now, what's very shocking, right, to some, not to me, is the fact that the other day they caught actual Arab terrorists in California. And some they stopped at the border. Some. That was by those who weren't told not to stop them. And there are plenty of them they brought in here. I expressed to you about a friend of mine whose nephew is stating the fact that they're going to arm these individuals. It's not us who's going to arm these individuals. Not us at all. We don't have the means to do it because of the NFA and the ATF, which are terrorist organizations. NFA is terrorist organization against the autochthonous, or people of melanation, who would fight against the Klan and everything else because we stopped and kicked their butts. The NFA is strictly racist in its entire creation, the narrative created by the same individuals who would kill their own, just as our people sadly are doing today, to which they didn't do in the 40s, 50s, even the early and mid 60s. FBI, the bad entities within that group, and those who in ignorance played a part. But there are even whistleblowers from that period of time who they silenced, and they gave them their pension and everything else, who talked against that and said it was so wrong. shook their heads, even on the field. And I just wanted to bring that to attention. Yes, they've been catching, not all of them. You're talking about 5 million people coming across the border that this fake government and the conservatives are permitting, allowing, except there are still good ones. There are still good ones who have families, and those families are important. It's not one man, Kennedy, standing alone around a bunch of serpents, lizards, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. Okay? Robert Kennedy just said not Robert, but his nephew JFK's nephew just said not too long ago, who wants to run for president, says, no, the CIA killed my uncle. He clearly said it. And yet they're still spraying and putting chemicals in the water, making you drink your poop and pee water, poisoning your food. So it's not just the FBI, the CIA, the ATF, the NFA who want to disarm you. It's all parties included. Moms against fire. Come on, moms, what you call it, in Bloomberg. All of them play a part. Gates. Every one of them play a part. And when people want to free themselves, you look at, remember Martin Lawrence, with a gun in the streets, they're trying to kill me. You remember Kanye? His so-called, even texted him and told him, I'll put you in the psych ward again and have you so doped up. And nobody's running to protect these individuals, because we have individuals out here who are running around the music industry and everything else who sit there and carry on in a manner to which y'all don't deal with them according to how they should be. The police are not the first responders. They're not even constitutional, regardless of taking an oath. And though there are those who are good, who really want to do a good job, and I know some personally, but there are a lot of bad ones. California, you got police officers who work for the cartel. Yeah. And they're not being admonished and dealt with. Why? Because, like my brother said a little while ago, the swamp is deep. But doesn't mean that it can't be dredged and removed. We can't make excuses. Look at this. We had Budlight with that thing, became a millionaire. Now they got a brother. See, this is the confliction. This is the confliction and the perverseness. I'm done with Adidas. I don't have no Adidas at all. Wearing that little skimpy thing and looking like it's okay. They're so happy. But still, his black ass, dead, that's what it means, dead in law, because that's not a reality. That's a creation of theirs as well. Do we have to go back to the names of Boaz and all those individuals, those Ashkenazis? But not all of them are bad. I got uncles who can't stand their own people because they see what's going on. If you were to call them a Jew, I'm telling you, them two big bruises would beat you to a pulp. They have more respect for you and your family than you even know. I got Chinese cousins who are Muslim. And I mean, they practice. So when I see these Negroes, these melanated people in Philly and Cali talking about Salam Alaikum and this rock mama and all that stuff, I be wanting to spit in their face. When I see Farrakhan doing his symphony thing, jamming away, I'm like, you black European. See, we have learned through false education to tolerate the intolerable. And when will you stop tolerating the intolerable? I shared that video with the pale skin in California, riding by them two sisters, talking about like he was broken, To which my beloved, beautiful sister, Snoo, Frog and Snoo, called the word, to which it is. People have a hard time dealing with this reality. And now here we have Jamie Foxx, literally fighting for his life. Are they cloning him? Possibility. Dave Chappelle's got a free run. Why? Because he's got the people who's willing to step on his side and back him up. What about the rest of them? Where's the vaudeville show at? Where's the reality? What's the line that crosses between fact and fiction? Where is it? That's why I say it's important for you to know who you are. One of the most important things, but also to know that a sacrifice may be required, as arduously sad as that sounds. I'm serious. I just want to share that. It's a shame, but I'm so grateful that that was even just put out there, just in itself, to be weaponized and used against the people. So that's what they've been doing, putting people in position to use them against the people. So that means the head of ATF needs to be gone. Fake Biden, because that's not the real one. When did his lobes start? When did his lobes? Yeah, that's cosmetic surgery. That's plastic surgery. Now, he's not the same person, even by the mouth. And there's about 12 people that look like me in this country. That's why I'm always shaving my beard, making myself look different. But lately, I've been holding this. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, the AI can create you now, and very well with the pixels or however it's generated. The thing is, it's not remedial, people. This stuff has been happening in the last few years. The liars. The fact that fact checking is screwing up on things that's not talking about flu nor fake ass COVID. It's hitting everybody with fact check. And then when you look at the fact check, it has nothing to do with the topic or the discussion at hand. You see it on Instagram and everything else. It is to discourage, and they need to stop that because nobody asked them to come in to fact check nothing, because otherwise we need to fact check them, and to which is happening, to which I've already hit them upside their head several times. They have been brazenly wrong. Our beautiful brother Curamil just did something on the Theosophical Society. He took what I said and he ran with it, and he just gave one of the best interpretations. I think he spoke a little bit about maybe a year ago, maybe, I believe. I'm still going through some of his old videos. I love his material. And nobody else has grabbed it. I said, look at the steps. I'm going to do something on that, because it seems like in the hot top people, because people are having a hard time finding the truth in this. The reality of what's going on is right before you. And it's so perverse. Have we become perverse along with it? Have we become that groomed, that well groomed, that we're accepting it? The slave mentality when we were not slaves? It's something to ponder and something to think about. That right there is real. Okay? And there are many more. I've met a few who aren't really whistleblowers as far as in the congressional house hearing or whatever, hearing house or whatever you want to call it. But I met enough who said, man, that's not real. That's not what happened. I met enough veterans that said, man, what happened overseas, the news has been lying. And yet the news with these greasy little slime balls still run ahead and put that perversion because of the Black Rock. We know what the Black Rock is, right? How many of y'all went over there and walked the circle around the big square? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That so-called Muhammad thought was a disgrace. That's right, I said it. He thought it was a disgrace. And they murked him. Chlorophyll. Well, anyway, that's what I wanted to share. We're at 56 minutes, and I'm going to actually go off for about an hour, come back, and we're going to read Women of Lemuria and American Covenant. I wanted to shut this down in an hour, and I appreciate everybody coming in. A quick little shout out. I saw it's popping up, but it's far away. I couldn't read everything. Chatahaya, what's going on, brother? Scott, peace. T. Hans, much love, much love. Mikey Hill, Snoo. Hey, baby girl. Yeah. Lamones Jr., Serrano, what's happening? Much love. Hey, Marguerite, what's happening? Black Wild Indian, yes. What's going on, beloveds? It's good to see y'all. Excuse me, I got the phone sideways. I should have turned it that way, actually. So salute to all. You know what I mean? Scott, what's happening? Yeah. Damn, I'm on Wichita. In Wichita. You in Wichita now? Alicia and Cooper, hey. Wow, you're right over there. Because what has compelled this man to become a whistleblower? Yeah, people would have. It's not so much that everybody's a righteous individual, but the goodness of a heart. When you hear enough wicked stuff, and I guarantee you, they're not conveying everything. I guarantee you. Yet, those who are in those positions, a whistleblower means that they don't believe it's against the Constitution, and you have people who are really about the Constitution. They swore an oath to it, especially those who served. No, not all, but some. Okay? I just apologized twice for COVID, but kicked its ass. And it wasn't COVID, it was the super flu. So we stopped using that word energy, okay, my beloved sister? We have to learn how to do things different. Yo, Oklahoma, it sounds like Oklahoma, but I know it's Jack. I know what it means, but Peace, OJ. You already know, family. Thank you guys for taking the time just to even come over and watch. We always gonna have the bad ones out here. They want to see slapstick and comedy and all that. No, I might have one day where I might just tell some jokes. You know what I'm saying? Have y'all blowing snot bubbles and stuff, farting and everything. His accolades are pretty, well, most time to get an organization. And remember what I said about secret clearance is really the lowest as far as secret clearances go. It's the lowest. I had secret clearances. You know what I mean? Federal employees over here. Thank you, hon. I appreciate you sharing that. This dude's died mysterious. Anyway, you know who it's going to be. You know what I mean? 2-week-old baby and forced to report to duty. That's crazy. Salutes to you, beloved. That guy's been running the government for a minute. Exactly. Who you think killed Lincoln, the real king? Hey, Lucius, what's going on? The swamp is muddy. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. Quiet as kept discussing wicked overlords are on the same page. Yes. Will they be arrested and held accountable? Well, we'll see. Who's going to do the arresting? It's up to the people. We've allowed them to have people believe that it's not up to us. And that's the lie in itself. You know what I mean? Is what some of my Army friends tell me. Yeah, I'm doing the right thing as a whistleblower. Make sure you have dead man's triggers everywhere. You better. You better. Crazy that only a select few can through. Well, yeah. Well, there's actually a lot more. You'd be surprised. We're just seeing those who's chose to come out and speak, to give up their anonymity. That's what you need to remember. Always remember those few things. You all right? Yeah, and it's all sick. It's treasonous. I'm not a vet, but as a patriot, I would defend this country against foreign and domestic. That's right. That's right. And I appreciate you all. I do. Terror family. Yeah, military is the final straw. The thing is, the militia is not the military, nor is it the that they send first, the National Guard. They're not the militia. That's a lie in itself. You and I are the militia. Appreciate that. That's why I did. Thank you so much, guys and girls. Yeah, and you saw that. I was wondering, is anybody paying attention and seeing these little details? Especially, look, you can't make this stuff up, y'all. Y'all can even download the handbook that pretty much lays out a lot of that stuff. And my uncle taught me that, though. You know what I mean? And a few other individuals I can't really speak on. Never give up. Federal Bureau of Investigation, exactly. But it's been corrupted. Everything needs to be purged. Yeah, I know. It makes you want to throw F-bombs all over the place. We're at an hour. Oh my goodness, I want to get under that. No, thank y'all. I'm telling you, thank y'all. I appreciate you guys. And it's sad. It's very sad what's going on. I don't want to beat up, because you can't beat up everybody. I mean, there's some people that really believe in the job and the team and the mates around them, and some who have to do what they have to do, even if they feel opposite. And that's even the worst part. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to go and release yourself. Whoo, child. Yes. Oh, now back to reality. I'm just making a statement. That's all. Not to be perverse. FBI wants Snowden's head. Snowden gave a lot of information, and there's another individual. Look at the young man, the young Army individual, 20-something years old or whatever. You see what they're trying to do to him, right? It's real sick, these individuals. They are very sick, and they have them move around like that. Look how they did their own CIA operative, the one they wanted to blame Kennedy's murder on. They had that dumb Italian run in there with his fat self, who owned a nightclub, and shoot him in the gut. Come on, man. They killed Tupac and Biggie. Well, I disagree. I see what you're saying. I believe it. It takes 6 months for them to clone. I believe it could. Yeah, I believe that, or maybe even a little faster. The cure me. Yeah, that's okay. Hey, Shamil, what's going on, Thomas? What's happening? All right, that's good to see. It's good to see a lot of people in. It really is. I had a secret as well. Yeah, you know, most of us did actually, especially it depends on what you did as far as your MOS, you know. Rondo, what's going on, beloved? You already know. Oswald went to school to be a patsy, and yes, daggone right. And it's pretty sad. And even his wife started speaking out before she, you know, passed on. So anyway, I appreciate everybody taking the time. I saw it a little while ago, and I was like, I got to do something on this. But let me get off of here. So now we can come back. And beloved sisters, y'all come back. And the brothers who want to listen, you come on back too, because it's about you as well. We're going to get into, again, the women of Lemuria and the American Covenant. We're still on the sister in Louisiana, you know, the Bayou de Voodoo Queen, and really good stuff, okay? And I appreciate you guys taking the time to come in, my beloved sisters and my brothers. You know, it's always 2 and 1. And to my veteran brothers and sisters, you are highly respected and looked upon with the most intrigue from this old salt right here, and the most love. May we be rational in this time of deception, as arduous as that is, and may we move forward, if permitted. You see what I'm saying? I'm not here to stop nothing or no one. I'm more just to watch, but I'm here to give people a little heads up. That's all. It's not like they don't have it or they can't perceive or see it. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch and pay attention. I really do. And thank you. See you guys here shortly, in about an hour.